Good morning, everyone. So you're going to need for today's class a block, a strap or a blanket that you can sort of roll and use as in place of a strap. You're also going to need some sort of blanket, and let's say like 2 firm pillows. We'll try that. And then if you have yoga blocks, if not, use like books, like a big book, like maybe like this size, basically something that resembles or emulates a yoga block. So I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi. Okay. Cool. So we're going to get started in 1 minute, and we're going to start on our backs, and I'll show you how to get in there. We're going to start on our backs with a rolled blanket or yoga blocks if you have them. Okay. So today's class is going to be focused on opening up the front body. And when we do this, we are able to sort of counteract all the slouching that occurs throughout the day. So when our shoulders are pinched together, or our shoulder blades are sort of like wide open, and the front of our body is sort of closed off. So we're going to work on opening up here and up in the upper back, and then the hip flexors as well. So the whole front body, including the calves, the core, the chest, the shoulders, and then work on opening the back as well. So we're going to start on our backs. So I want you to take a blanket. So it's folded like a square like this. And then you're going to just roll it like a hot dog. If you have yoga blocks, I'll show you how to set those up as well. But I'm pretty sure nobody has yoga blocks except yoga teachers. So you're going to roll the blanket sort of like a burrito like this. And you're just going to place it sort of at the top of your mat. And then you're going to lay down on your back. And you're going to set the blanket up so that it's right at your sacrum. And then you're just going to lean over the blanket so that your shoulder blades are hanging over the blanket. And your head is sort of hanging a little bit off of the blanket or on top of it. And you're just going to have your arms at your side with your palms facing up. And if this is kind of hurting your low back a little bit, then just bend your knees to be here. So just set yourself up in that position. If you have yoga blocks, you'll have one block. You place it right at the sort of top center of your mat, and then another one right above it. And I would have it at the lowest height to start. You're going to take that first block and you're going to start to lean back and place it right where your bra strap, if you're a girl, would be. If you're a guy, it's sort of right below your shoulder blades. So I don't want it like on your lumbar spine, but I want it like above that. So right at the base of your shoulder blades or where your bra strap is, and then your head lays on the block. And the same sort of deal, your shoulders are hanging up over the block. So we're starting in this position. So if everyone wants to get there. And then now's a good time to start to tune into the breath. So anywhere that you are this morning, anything that you have going on later today, now is a good time to sort of let that go and focus all your awareness internally and bring the awareness to the body and the breath. Maybe you start to deepen your inhales and exhales. And we're breathing super deeply through the nose here. So anytime that you take that inhale breath and you feel the belly rise and fall, see how much space you can create in the rib cage. So with each inhale, you're opening up more space in the front body. And with each exhale, you're sort of compressing those organs together. You're compressing your lungs and your ribs back together. And maybe you could even place your palms on your belly to feel that, feel the rise and fall of the breath. And we're doing these things just to create more awareness and more conscious breathing. So this is a really gentle way to start to open up space in the spine, the spinal column, and then into the chest and the front shoulders and all of that. So we're warming up the body for what's to come later in class. Continuing to breathe deeply through the nose. Seeing if you can match the length of your inhales and exhales. So it's almost like one long oceanic breath coming in and out through the nose. We're going to stay here for another minute or so. Maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you take this time to set an intention for today's class. Whether it's, to have a productive day, or maybe to look at the news a little less. Maybe it's to call your mom. Being more intentional about the relationships that you have. Maybe taking this time that we have in isolation and using it to reflect on your greater footprint on the earth and how you affect others around you as well as the earth. Taking just a few more deep breaths here. And then eventually rolling off of the blanket or the blocks onto your side. And making your way up to a seated position. So we're actually going to start by sitting on our knees like this. And if this is uncomfortable for you, you can take a pillow and place it underneath your knees, like right up to your kneecaps, and sit this way. So we're going to start, and it's called heroes. So we're going to start here. And I want you to grab the blanket or the strap that you have. And just make one long sort of strap this way. So I have a strap like this. You can also take your blanket. Just use it this way. So we want basically to emulate a strap if you have a blanket. We're going to take the strap or blanket, and you're going to find a distance on your hands on the strap where it's comfortable to roll it backwards, and then you can make it all the way back. So sort of test it out, find that length on the strap or the blanket. And you want it to be gentle at first, so you can start wider, and then as we warm up, we can eventually sort of get closer and closer on the strap. So let's start at the bottom, placing the strap on the tops of our thighs. Let's take an inhale breath all the way up to the top of our head. And then exhale, roll behind us. Inhale, take it to the top of your head. And then exhale, roll it over. Inhale, take it up. And exhale, roll it behind you. Inhale. And exhale. Maybe tighten the strap just a little bit. Narrow your grip. Inhale, take it over your head. And exhale behind. Inhale, take it over. And exhale in front. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now let's start with some figure eights. So let's take it over to the side. And then behind us. Exhale. And then inhale. So we're sort of going in figure eights. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale behind. Inhale. And exhale. Reverse the direction. Inhale. And exhale behind. Inhale. And exhale forward. One more time. Inhale. And exhale behind. Inhale. And exhale forward. And just remove that strap, place it off to the side with a blanket. Now we're going to meet in tabletop pose. So we're stacking our, let's hold this really quick. We're stacking on tabletop our shoulders right over our wrists and our hips are right over our knees. On your inhale breath, drop your belly, lift your chin up and look, and then pull your chest through your shoulders. So we're sort of rounding and curling like a cow. And on the exhale breath, we're rounding and curling. So tuck the chin to the chest, pop the upper back up, and drop the tailbone down towards your heels. Inhale, drop your belly, pull your chest through your shoulder blades, and lift your chin up. And then exhale, round and curl. Pop the upper back up. Inhale, drop the belly low, lift the chin, lift the chest. And exhale, round and curl. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest, lower the belly. Exhale, round and curl. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhale breath, reach your right arm to the sky. Keep that left hand planted. I'm going to turn to face this way so you can see me. And then thread your arm underneath that left shoulder, or that left arm, and drop the right shoulder down to the mat. Your head rests on the mat, the side of your head. And then start to walk that left arm out to the front of your mat so that it's straight and your palm is, maybe it's off the mat at this point. So this is thread the needle pose. You take an inhale breath here, and then exhale. And as you inhale, see if you can roll that left shoulder or that left armpit a little bit further up to the sky by pressing into the tops or the top of your right arm. So right into the shin, or I'm sorry, right into the forearm. You're pressing into the forearm of the right arm to open up that left armpit up to the sky. Sorry if that was unclear. It's very early. Inhale, breath here. And exhale, twist. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Inhale. And then as you exhale, place that left palm underneath your left shoulder. Press yourself back up. Reach your right arm back up to the sky. And then exhale, release. Back to tabletop. On your next inhale breath, reach your left arm to the sky. And then exhale, thread it through, thread the needle. Your right arm goes underneath your left arm goes underneath your right. So your left shoulder is on the mat and your left ear is on the mat. Start to walk that right arm out in front of you. And take a deep inhale breath. And exhale. Inhale, press into that left forearm to see if you can roll that right armpit up toward the sky. Exhale out. Inhale, breath. Exhale through the nose. Inhale here. And exhale out. Place the right palm underneath your right shoulder. Using it to press back up, reaching the left arm up to the sky. And then exhale back to tabletop. And then we're going to sit in child's pose. So taking the knees slightly wider than the hips. So I sort of like to have them in a V, and then our toes are still touching. And then sit your hips back on your heels. And you're going to start to walk your hands out in front of you. If you have a book or a block or even a pillow, something to sort of raise your palms off of the mat a little bit, we're going to place our palms on top of that. So I'm going to use a block. If you have like a thick book, this would work too, or a pillow. I'm going to place my palms on the blocks, and I'm just going to slide them out in front of me until my chest is falling through my shoulders. And then you can either set up another pillow underneath your forehead or rest your forehead on the mat if it gets there, if it makes it there. And take deep breaths here, in and out through the nose. So by elevating the hands, we're actually opening up the shoulders, the front armpits, or like the armpit part of the shoulder, even more. So we're creating a little bit more space there by elevating where our hands are. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. A few more rounds of breath here. One last deep breath. And then as you exhale, start to rise up, placing the palms on the mat, walking yourself back up, removing whatever props you have out of the way. And then taking your hands almost to the front of your mat, coming up into tabletop pose, tucking your toes, and then lifting your hips up, pressing into downward facing dog. So this is the first one of the day. This one might be super tight. It's really, really tight for me. So I recommend pedaling your feet out and opening up the calves slowly and gently and the hamstrings. So in downward facing dog, we want our palms, our hands to be flat on the mat, and our fingers are spread very, very wide. So you have your fingers are literally like, it's like a high five. Actually, yeah. So your fingers want to be spread like this into the mat. And you want to be pressing super firmly into those palms. So you're sort of lifting out of your wrists and out of your shoulders and pressing your hips even higher in space by really, really rooting down into those hands and pressing firmly into them. Continuing to pedal it out, anything that you need to sort of warm up the body here. Finding your breath again, breathing deeply in and out through the nose. And then let's find a little bit of stillness here. So really think about pressing firmly into those palms and then rolling your triceps inwards and your biceps up towards the sky. So you're rolling your triceps down to the bottom to your mat, and you're rolling your triceps down to the mat and your biceps up to the sky. So you're sort of spinning those arms upwards. Take one more inhale breath here. And as you exhale, shift forward into plank pose. If this is too much for you, you can lower the knees. So we're in plank pose. Our shoulders are right over our wrists, and our heels are right over our toes. Take the tailbone down towards your heels, pull the low belly in, pull the ribs together, and puff the upper back up. And then drop the hips a little bit lower. We're holding here for 3 breaths. Inhale, 1. Exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Inhale, 3. Last breath. And then exhale, we're lowering all the way to our belly very slowly. Untuck the back toes. Keeping the hands right at your top of the ribs. Pin your elbows to your sides. So I don't want them out like this. Keep them pinned to your sides. And then find a little bit of lightness in the palms. Press the pubic bone down to the mat and the tops of the feet down into the mat. And then lift your kneecaps off of the mat by engaging the quads. So we're here and we're setting up for baby cobra. So your forehead is resting on the mat to start. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale everything out. And then inhale, just lift the shoulders and the chest off of the mat, using the strength of your low back or your back muscles. But keep as little weight as possible in the palms. We really want to engage our back here. And then your head is off of the mat as well. And you want to look out in front of you, like right around here. So not like up here, but we want to look out on the floor in front of us. So take 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lift maybe a little higher. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. And then exhale, drop the forehead down to the mat. And find your breath again. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale through the nose. Exhale everything out. Inhale, reach up, baby cobra. So your chin or your shoulders and your chest come off of the ground. Press firmly into the tops of the feet. Find lightness in the palms. Take 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale 2. Lift a little higher. Exhale. Last breath. Inhale 3. And exhale. Release your forehead down to the mat. We're going to press back up in a tabletop pose. And you're going to take your right leg and you're going to pull it through and set your foot on the outside of your right hand. So you're setting your right foot on the outside of your right hand. We're sort of coming into this lunge here. And then, and then I want you to start to stand up onto that knee. So we're in a low lunge. And I want you to find 90 degree angles with your legs. So your hip is stacked right over your knee. And your front knee is stacked right over your ankle. I'm getting a little warm. And then on the inhale breath, I want you to see if you can take the left hip flexor and start to push it forward. We're not sinking this way. We're just taking the tilt of our pelvis and bringing it forward and straight. So rather than lunging like this, we're bringing the pelvis straight and forward. It's almost like you're thrusting your hips forward. And just sort of bounce here and feel that opening into the hip flexor, that left side hip flexor. If this bothers your knee, you can place a blanket underneath your knee. And just sort of feel that opening into the front hip flexor. My palms are on my knee right now. This is a fine place to have your arms for the moment. We're just working on opening that front quad and the front hip flexor. And start breathing. And just inhale through here and exhale out the nose. Keeping the breath, maintaining the breath as much as we can. Take one more deep breath here. And exhale. We're going to release, so take the palms of the hands onto the mat, and then just release that right leg back into tabletop pose. And then take the left leg forward. So our left foot is in between our hands right now. And then we're going to come up into that low lunge. So again, we want to find the 90 degree angles of our back leg and our front leg. So the front knee is right over the ankle, back hip is right over the back knee. And again, we want to see if you can take that tilt out of the pelvis by pulling the tailbone down towards your kneecap and pulling the front hip bones forward and up. So you're almost like thrusting your hips forward. And then you start to find that sort of buoyancy, that bounce, and just gentle movements into that front hip flexor. If you can hear that, that's great. Sorry. And the breath again, inhale deeply through the nose, and exhaling out. Let's do one more breath here, inhale through the nose. And then exhale, release your palms down towards the mat. We'll find your tabletop pose again. Tuck the back toes, walk your hands out a little bit further in front of you. Press up in the top, facing up. And inhale breath here. And then exhale, start to walk your feet towards the front of your mat. Take a super generous bend in the knee, and just so that your ribs are relaxing on the tops of your thighs. And then take your arms together, like you're grabbing opposite elbows, and just hang. So we're finding this ragdoll pose where we're hanging. This might be a little bit tough for a lot of us because it's in the morning, so it's kind of hard on the neck. But just this is a perfect time to take super deep breaths through that uncomfortability. Breathing deeply through the nose. Take one more breath here. And exhale out. As we inhale, just come up halfway. So by that, I mean, we're not coming all the way up to standing. We're just coming about halfway. I'm placing my hands on my shins. I'm keeping a soft bend in the knee, and I'm finding a flat spine. So I'm not curling over like this. I'm just coming up so that I can find a flat spine. And you can place your hands on your thighs or on your knee or on your shins, but don't place them on your knees. You're going to protect them from your knee joint. So we're finding, and then take your weight into this toe mounds of your feet. So I want them back like this in your heels. Keep them forward so that your hips are right over your ankles. Inhale, breath here. And then exhale, fold again. Bending into the knees. Inhale, rise, halfway lift again. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, this time we're coming all the way up to standing. Rise all the way up, keeping the knees bent. With our hands to our side. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. And then exhale, fold. All the way down. Inhale, come up halfway, lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up to standing. The arms come up overhead. And then inhale, or exhale, take your hands through center and prayer. Oh my gosh. It is raining on the roof. I'm sorry. It's really hard to hear. Inhale, reach arms up towards the sky. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Arms overhead. And then exhale, hands come through center into prayer. So we're going to move through a few seconds with a little bit of variation. Let's see if you guys can still hear me. Okay. So on our inhale breath, reach your arms up towards the sky. I'm going to come down just to show you how we're going to have our arms. So on sun salutation, you normally lift your arms up like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to reach our arms up on the inhale breath. And then the exhale breath, we're going to pull our elbows down to our shoulder blade, or like to the height of our shoulders, and then pinch the shoulder blade, or like squeeze the shoulder blades together behind us. So I'm like squeezing my shoulder blades together like this. So I call that goalpost or cactus arms. So we're going to do that on the inhale breath, and then pull our elbows down on the exhale breath. Do with every single now. Okay, so we're coming at the top of our mat. On our inhale breath, reach your arms up. On the exhale, goalpost the arms. And like somebody has a string attached to your sternum, and they're pulling your chest up towards the sky. See if you can lift your chest up. Inhale, breath here, and exhale. Inhale, reach your arms back up straight, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway, and then exhale, plant your hands on the mat, step back into plank pose, and then you have two options here. You can lower all the way to your belly, and then come into that baby cobra like we did earlier, or you lower halfway into that chaturanga push-up. So your elbows are pinned exactly to your side, and your shoulders, your arm is at a 90-degree angle, so your shoulder never dips below your elbow. And then untuck your back toes, pull your chest through, lower your hips, upward facing dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, breath here, and exhale. Inhale, 2, and exhale. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Arms come up overhead. And then exhale, cactus to goalpost those arms. Inhale, reach it back up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat, step back into plank pose, lower to your belly for low cobra or halfway for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale, 1. And exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Inhale, 3. And exhale, make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Arms come overhead. And exhale, goalpost the arms. Inhale, reach them straight up to the sky. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold. Planting your hands, stepping back into plank pose, lowering halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing or baby cobra. And exhale, downward facing. 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Inhale, 3. And then exhale, make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Arms overhead. And exhale, goalpost the arms. Inhale, sweep them back up, straight up to the sky. And then exhale, this time bring them through prayer, or hands to prayer through the middle. So we're going to move through a few standing sequences. So just listen to my cues and we'll get started. So inhale, we're going to come into chair pose. So to get that sort of position right, I often like to bend over and sweep my fingertips to the mat to see if I can get low in my hips. And then our arms are coming straight forward. If this is really uncomfortable for you, take your arms like wide like this. So our arms are here. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale out. And then on chair pose, I want you to think about or look down at your toes. And our front 2 toes are touching and our heels are slightly apart. If that's uncomfortable, take your feet about hip distance apart. But our knees, we don't want our knees to be forward over our toes. We want to be able to look down and see our toes. And then sit your booty low. And then take the dip out of the upper back. So I don't want any of this. I want you to pull your belly in and draw your ribs together. Squeeze your glutes together, squeeze your thighs together. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, reach your right leg up Reach your right leg up to the sky, keeping the hips square, and then exhale, step it through in between your hands. We're coming into a high lunge. So finding your balance, our feet are on train tracks. So we got a little bit of space between our feet. And then we're coming into that high lunge. So our arms are overhead. And I want you to bend to your back knee generously so that you take a little bit of that tilt out of the pelvis. So rather than like here, I want you more like here. Reach your arms up towards the sky. And then clasp your hands behind your head like this. Yeah. Take deep breaths here. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. And then reach your arms back up to the sky. And then, let me see, I'm going to face this way to show you. So we're going to find a twist here. So our arms are going to come into a T. Our right arm is dropping behind us. And so we're in this twist with our shoulders facing the side of the room. So it's a closed twist rather than an open twist, like side ankle. So you can inhale breath here and exhale. Check your front knee, make sure it's right over your back ankle or your front ankle. Exhale out. Inhale, reach your arms back up to the sky. And exhale, goalpost the arms. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, fold. Take your palms to frame your front foot. Step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Inhale, reach your left leg up. Keeping your hips square. And then exhale, step it through in between your palms. We're finding that high lunge, so setting up so that you have some balance. And then inhale, come up. Bend generously into that back knee so you can have a neutral, flat, or a straight pelvis. Reach your arms up to the sky, clasp your hands, and then take them behind your head like this. Take deep breaths here. Check down to make sure check your front knee to make sure it's right over your ankle. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, we're going to reach our arms up to the sky and find the twist on the other side. So this time your left arm is dropping behind you. And you're opening up your arms like a T to the side of the room. And when you do this, sometimes I like to sort of flex my wrist backwards. And I can even feel a deeper sensation all the way on the, like the inside of my arm when I do that. So it's sort of like, you can kind of see like my arm is flexed like this, and I have it backwards. And that sort of helps open up that, you might feel a little bit of tingling sensation right in here. So take an inhale breath here, and then exhale, arms come forward, and then inhale breath here, and then exhale, goalpost the arms. Inhale, reach up, and then exhale, fold place your palms to frame your front foot. Step back into plank pose, lower halfway or all the way chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. And exhale, downward facing. Inhale, breath here. Exhale. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. So taking the toes together, the heels are slightly apart, or your feet are hips width distance apart. Sit your hips down and reach up or forward. So again, my knees are a little bit like right at the edge of my toes. So I want to make sure I can see my toes when I look down. Inhale here. Exhale. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs together. Inhale. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat. Step back into plank. Lower halfway or all the way, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Then exhale, downward facing. And a word about these, the chaturangas and all of that, you are welcome to skip them completely and just go back to downward facing dog from a forward fold or from From plank pose, yeah, sorry. So I'll show you the next round. Inhale, reach your right leg to the sky. We're gonna add on a little bit from here. And then exhale, step it through to the top of your mat. We're coming into that high lunge. Clasp your hands behind your head. Take your elbows wide. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, find that twist. So your right arm drops back. And you're opening up your arms like a T to the side of the room. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, this time we're going to clasp our hands behind our back and then straighten the arms out. So we're opening our shoulder blades here. And then start to shift forward onto the front foot. Slowly starting to bow forward, finding humble warrior. So our arms come up overhead. And then when you're here, really squeeze that right glute together, or squeeze that right glute so that you have stability and strength in that front leg. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, slowly start to rise up. And the arms come up overhead, and then exhale, goal post the arms. Inhale, reach the arms up, and then exhale, start to frame the front foot with your hands. We're stepping back into plank, and here's where, if you want to skip that vinyasa, you can go straight back to downward facing dog. I'm going to lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. Inhale, reach your left leg to the sky. Keep moving. And then exhale, step it through. Find high lunge. Bend into that back knee. And then take your hands clasped behind your head. Your elbows are open wide. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale 2. And then exhale, reach your right arm or your arms up. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, open your arms. Your left arm goes backwards. So wide like a T in that twist. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Inhale, your arms come forward. And then clasp your hands behind your back. The opposite thumb goes on top. So if you forget which one it was, it's just whatever the uncomfortable one is. So whatever, like, not natural breath or thumb you go to. So we're finding that humbled warrior. So straighten out the arms. Start to shift the weight forward. Start to bow forward slowly, making sure that front knee is right over the ankle. And then you just bow forward. Letting your head hang heavy. Your left side chest is resting, not fully weighted, not fully resting on your thigh, because you want to engage that left glute and really press firmly into the left foot. Take an inhale breath here. Maybe you reach your arms a little bit higher. And then exhale. Inhale, start to rise back up. Your arms release. Come straight up. Take an inhale. And then exhale, goal post the arms. Inhale, your arms reach up. And then exhale, frame your front foot with your hands. Step back into plank pose. Skip the vinyasa or lower halfway, all the way. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Take a deep breath here. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale out the mouth. Let go of some of that heat. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale out the mouth. Walk your feet towards the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, fold. This time we're coming right into chair pose. So we're this time, and for chair this time, like we had in that high lunge, we're going to clasp our hands and take them behind our head with our elbows wide. So take an inhale breath here. Sink your hips a little bit lower. Check down to check to see if you can see your toes. And inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale, forward release. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing. And then exhale, downward facing. Inhale, take your right leg up. And then exhale, step it through in between your hands. Find high lunge. This time we're going right into that twist with our arms open like a T. So drop that right arm back, then open up your arms like a T to the side of the room. Inhale here, and exhale. Inhale, reach your arms back up, and then exhale, clasp your hands behind your back. Open up those shoulders, extend the arms straight, start to shift forward, find humble warrior. Inhale, start to rise back up, reaching the arms up towards the sky, and then exhale, goalpost the arms. Inhale, reach the arms back up, and then exhale, plant your hands under the mat. We're stepping back into plank. This time we're not going to move through a full vinyasa. I want us to lower all the way down to our bellies. Untuck the back toes. And then we're going to take our hands back, and we're placing the tops of our hands on the mat. So our arms at our side, the tops of our feet are on the mat. So this is not a passive pose, what we're about to do. I want you to engage everything in your body. So starting with the feet, press your tops of your feet firmly into the mat, and then lift the kneecaps off of the mat by engaging the quads. So squeezing the quads together. Take the tailbone down towards your heels, squeeze the glutes. Press the pubic bone down into the mat. And then take an inhale breath here with your forehead resting on the mat. Exhale everything out. Inhale, we're going to lift everything off of the mat except our hands. So our feet come up. Take an inhale breath here. And I want you to squeeze those glutes together. And look back and make sure that your feet aren't rolled out to the side this way. We want them straight. And then rather than thinking of lifting up, I want you to think of reaching in opposite directions. So reaching your feet backwards and the crown of your head forwards. Take one more inhale breath here. And then exhale, slowly start to release. Your forehead comes back down towards the mat. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale out. One more resting breath, and we're going to do it again. And exhale everything out. And then inhale, come up, rise for, this is called Shalanbhasana, or locust pose. And exhale out. Inhale. And then exhale, release. Take your hands to your ribs, tuck your toes, and then just press in a downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your left leg to the sky. And then exhale, step it through. We're finding that high lunge. Take an inhale breath in high lunge. And then exhale, open your arms out wide like a T. That left arm goes back. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, reach your arms forward. And then exhale, clasp your hands behind your back. Straighten out those arms, start to tip forward. Find humble warrior. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the nose. Inhale, start to rise. And then exhale, goalpost the arms. Inhale, reach your arms straight up. And then exhale, plant your hands. Step back into plank pose. We're lowering all the way down to our bellies. Untucking the back toes. So we're going to do that Shalanbhasana again, but we're going to take our hands clasped behind our back this time. So take an inhale breath here. And exhale out. We're engaging every part of the body, so pressing firmly to the tops of the feet, lifting the kneecaps off of the ground by engaging the quads, taking our tailbone to our heels, squeezing our glutes, pressing the pubic bone down into the mat. Take an inhale breath. Exhale everything out. And then inhale, lift everything off of the mat. Extend your legs back. And remember, we're reaching forward and we're reaching backwards. So see how much you can extend those toes like someone's pulling you with a string. So inhale here. Exhale out. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, release. Let's take one cleansing breath here, in through the nose. And out through the mouth. Inhale, rise back up to Shalanbhasana. Seeing if you can get a little bit higher and a little bit more length forward and backwards. Inhale through the nose, and then exhale, release. And then you're gonna press yourself up into tabletop pose, and then back into child's pose. So taking your knees wider than your hips, and then just extending your arms forward, resting your forehead on a pillow or the mat. Taking deep breaths in and out through the nose. Taking this time to reconnect to the breath. Reconnect with the intention that you may have set for class or your intention for the day. One more breath here. And then exhale out. Start to rise to tabletop pose. We're going to take our right knee and slide it forward to meet our right wrist. And then angle your leg, the bottom of your leg, your foot, out to about a 45-degree angle in towards the center of your mat. We're setting up for pigeon pose. So if you know how to get here, go for it. But I'll cue it so that you can get here. So then from here, so our foot wants to be at our leg wants to be at about a 45-degree angle, right knee to right wrist. And then start to slide that back leg backwards to the edge of the mat, so that your right heel is right about at the top of your left thigh. And then start to walk your hands up. Check your back leg, make sure that it's fully straight and your heel is facing straight up to the sky rather than hanging out or inwards. So take an inhale breath here. If this is really uncomfortable for you, I recommend sliding a pillow underneath your right butt cheek. So that helps with a little bit of support. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, start to walk your hands out. We're coming into that sleeping pigeon pose. So if you can't come down to your forearms or all the way down, I highly recommend getting a pillow or a book or a block if you have it, and resting your forearms onto the block. Take an inhale breath here, and exhale out. Inhale 2, exhale out. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale out. One more breath here, inhale. And then as you exhale, start to slowly rise up, so placing the palms onto the mat. We're going to tuck our back toes under, lift our knee off of the mat, and then using the strength of our core, we're going to press our knee up into our chest, step back into plank pose, and then downward facing dog. And then come into tabletop pose. We're taking our left knee, sliding it forward to our left wrist, angling that leg out to about a 45-degree angle. Start to slide your right leg back so that your left heel is meeting the top of your right thigh, almost to your hip flexor. Keep that left foot flexed as much as you can in this pose. We're going to start by walking up to find a little bit of, we're finding this upright pigeon first. If you need a little bit of support underneath your left glute, I highly recommend putting a pillow right underneath there. So we're here in this upright pigeon. Check to make sure that your ankle is facing straight up to the sky, so your heel is straight up rather than hanging out to the side. Take an inhale breath. And then start to walk forward. Find that sleeping pigeon. You can place your forearms on the block or the mat if you can get there. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale 4. Actually, this is 5, sorry. And then exhale, slowly start to rise back up. Tucking the back toe, lifting the back knee, pressing into your palms, lifting your knee to your chest, stepping back into plank, and then downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath here. And then exhale, we're going to find our way to seated on our butts. So however you want to get there. Taking your legs straight out in front of you. And then to help with this, I always like to scoot the flesh of my butt like backwards, like drag it back so that I'm really sitting on my sit bones here. And then reach your arms up towards the sky. And then exhale, slowly start to fold forward. I want you to keep a long, flat spine as much as you can. As soon as you start to curve over, don't go any further. So we're reaching far forward as we can. As soon as we get to our limit, you can keep the knees, you can bend the knees as much as you want. As soon as you find that limit where you start to curve your back, then reach for whatever you can grab. So it could be your shins, your ankles, your feet. We're finding a forward fold. So it's pretty early for me, so I'm just going to stay right here. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Inhale, start to rise. And then we're going to take our right foot, bend the right knee, and take the sole of our right foot on the inside of our left thigh. So our right knee is sort of open in like a half butterfly. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Turn your shoulders to face your extended leg. And then same thing, we're going to start to reach forward, keeping a straight spine as much as we can. And then grab wherever you can. This is a little bit more, we can definitely curve here if we want to. If we're really stretching out the back of the body. So you should feel this in your right side back. And then see if you can pull your chest forward rather than crunching over. You don't have to go all the way down at all. Like I'm just like right here and this is enough for me. I can really feel that in my back. Take one more inhale breath here. And then exhale, slowly start to rise. Extend that right leg forward. And then start to bend into that left knee, placing the left sole of the left foot on the inside of your right thigh. Reaching your arms up towards the sky. Turning your shoulders to face that extended leg. And then slowly start to reach forward, leading with your chest, your sternum. Grab whatever you can. And then pull your chest forward. And I'm going to go right here. I'm keeping a soft bend in that right leg, by the way. Inhale here. And exhale. One more breath. Inhale. And then exhale, slowly start to rise back up. This time we're taking our feet, planting them right onto the mat, scooting our butt a little bit forward. Actually come even further. And then we're going to slowly start to make our way onto our back, very, very slowly, as slow as you possibly can. Just coming all the way onto the back. And then we're going to take the soles of our feet together and open our knees wide like a butterfly. If you need a little bit of support, I recommend getting pillows to place underneath your thighs. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my blocks underneath my thighs. So this is more of a restorative pose. And then take your right palm, place it on your low belly. And then take your left palm and place it over your heart. Let's take 3 deep breaths here together. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale 2. Inhale 3. And exhale. Draw your knees together using your hands. So take your hands to the outside of your thighs and pull them together. Remove whatever pillows you have out of the way, or props. And then take your knees into your chest. So holding your shins with your hands. And then we're going to start to make circles with our knee to massage the low back. It should feel super nice after all those chair poses. And then cross I'm going to offer two options here. You can either just drop your knees as is over to the left while keeping your right shoulder planted onto the mat, your arms open wide like a T. Or if you want a little bit more, you can cross that right knee over the left and then drop your hips over to the side. That's going to be a little bit deeper of a stretch. But take care to make sure that your right shoulder is still planted on the mat. Take 3 deep breaths here. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Inhale 2. And exhale. Inhale 3. And exhale. Inhale, start to draw your knees back up into the center of your body. If your legs are crossed, uncross them. And then again, we're just going to make some of those circles with our knees to massage the low back. And then you can start to drop your knees over to the right or cross your legs if you want a little bit more. Open your arms wide like a T, keeping that left shoulder planted onto the mat. Take 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale 1. The deepest ones yet. Exhale. The deeper you breathe, the more you can relax. Exhale 2. Inhale 3. And exhale. Inhale, draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself one more final squeeze. So maybe you lift your shoulders off of the mat and come up and curl into a little tight ball, rocking side to side. And then exhale, release into your final resting pose, Shavasana, corpse pose, however you want to call it. If you'd like, sometimes I really like to put a pillow underneath my thighs here to sort of release the low back. That's totally up to you. But find whatever comfortable position you want to be in. Open your feet wide, open your legs wide, and open your arms wide with your palms facing up to the ceiling. And then take your shoulder blades and sort of tuck them underneath you. So a lot of times our shoulders will be like sort of closed off like this. I want you to literally lift, using like the back of your head, lift your shoulders up off the mat and like tuck your shoulder blades behind you. And then find that final resting pose. I'm going to let you be here as long as you'd like, and I'm going to sign off. But I highly recommend staying in Shavasana for at least 5 minutes, keeping your eyes closed and relaxing every inch of your body and letting your breath go so that it's just natural breathing. So this is your final moment of relaxation today. Take full advantage of it. Stay here as long as you'd like. And thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time or 9 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you for coming.